I'm going to guess this next section is going to resonate instantly with some of you, whilst others you may be scratching your head wondering where a useful application is. And we're going to talk about text-to-image generation. In this case, the software we'll be using is Midjourney. This also works in another piece of software like a Russian doll effect. That other piece of software is Discord. So if you already know about Discord and potentially about Midjourney, I think you'll be able to hit the ground running. But the main aim of this video is for the rest of you who may not know about this as a feature or not have an inkling of how to get up and running. As with the other workflows, this is not a guide to show you how to get everything set up. There are loads of videos online that will cover that, and we're hoping to add how-to guides as part of this course over the coming months. This is more of an insight in terms of how I use Midjourney as part of our creative workflow, where it's best to be used and where it's best not to use it, and potential consequences of using AI for image generation. We're not going to delve into the legal and copyright issues simply because I'm not an expert in that field and I don't want to misguide you. But the basics as we stand at the moment is that no one can copyright AI content. That means that you can't copyright the content that you create using these AI tools. So if you're looking to build products that have high ticket value, then that may cause problems for you further down the line. Here we're going to look at Midjourney, how we can use this tool to create useful social media graphics, and we're going to be running a campaign shortly where we'll be using the graphics created by Midjourney. I'm really excited to see how much engagement we get from our community by launching these little picture puzzles. And that's what we're going to show you today. So we're going to jump in and I'll just walk you through the process of how I've created these graphics in Midjourney, then brought them into our Canva plan, and then rolled them out as a set of images. So I think that's enough from me. Let's crack on. Okay, so before we head over to Midjourney and create new graphics, I thought I'd get you up to speed on where we're at the moment. I've used Canva to lay these out, add our logo watermark, to create a series of picture puzzles. So these are based on famous movies. And as we can see, different examples. So I've had to use text to try and creatively give examples that aren't too difficult, but challenging enough. So here we've got the Italian Job. I actually used Midjourney to create the Italian style leather briefcase, and then I used a stock image in Canva to create the background. So I slightly cheated on that one, but the vast majority of these are created entirely using Midjourney. So this one for Raging Bull, I wanted the boxing ring in the background and I wanted a bull looking like it was aggressive. The aggressive nature, we could have done a little bit of Photoshop work to have the steam snorting out the nose, etc. But that was fine. It was close enough as an example. This one was quite difficult to put together. Die Hard, the tie and dye effect, and the hard hat. Blair Witch Project worked quite well. Tony Blair and wearing a witch's hat, I think, was the prompt for that one. And Snakes on a Plane was easy enough to do. So some of these were very straightforward, Groundhog Day. Some of them were just downright really hard to do. You would think that a Zeus wearing a World's Best Dad match or holding a mug, I wanted him drinking out of a mug, and then I was going to superimpose, number one dad on there for The Godfather. And it didn't quite work, and we had loads of examples because the mug was in keeping with the style. Also, this isn't photorealistic, so I had to use various effects on here. I used the lightning, Zeus, the god of thunder and lightning. Then I put the badge on there and the statement on there. People have still got that idea, but that was harder to do. Again, I've used Canva on this one to add the equations on the chalkboard. This one's for A Beautiful Mind. I actually wanted a brain with lipstick, I think was something like that on there, or a beautiful brain with lipstick. And that's what it created, which is one of my favorites. I think it did a great job. This one, I started looking at lion wearing a crown for Lion King, and that was too obvious. It would have been too easy to get. So we went with a king-size bed. A lion lying on a king-size bed was the solution for that one. And this one, man running up a blade for Blade Runner. So hopefully that's given you an idea of some of the text prompts I've been adding in to create these images. I'm going to create a couple more now. I think it's because I think Notting Hill was on TV the other night. And so I've got Julia Roberts films on my mind at the moment. So we're going to try two different options. One is for Mona Lisa's Smile, and another one is The Runaway Bride. The Runaway Bride should be straightforward enough, but I've been caught out a few times where you think the prompt's going to create an image exactly as I'm imagining it because the description is so vivid, and it doesn't always work like that. It's really quite quirky. So let's start with The Runaway Bride. You may already have recognized this. I've used Midjourney, as you would expect, to create the cover image for this entire course. And you can see I've been through quite a few different iterations because I still can't find the examples that I'm looking for. You may see this one, or I may have had another go to create some additional ones, but this is the closest I've got at the moment for an AI Toolkit cover photo. Anyway, the first up, this is not a Midjourney tutorial, but I will talk you through the steps anyway. So imagine, then we click on this prompt option here. We need that imagine to tell the Midjourney bot that we need it to create an image. And now we can describe the image. So bride running away in field. This one might be a bit on the nose. If I wanted to change the aspect ratio, I would put 2 hyphens and then AR, and then, for example, for widescreen, 16:9, and that's what I did for this one above here. But because these picture puzzles are square, I don't even need to do any of that. Grammarly's picking this up as a typo, but because it's a prompt, we can ignore that. But the other option is, and so I can actually put a second prompt in whilst it's creating the first one, because it's going to take a couple of minutes to do that. We'll try and go a bit more cryptic, maybe like a slight red herring there to throw them off, because anyone who's seen Runaway Bride would probably guess this option. But let's have a look at those once it's created. There we go. So they would work, but I think we can be a bit more imaginative with the creation of this one. Yeah, I think this one's going to be a bit more playful. So I'm looking at the one top left-hand corner. That should work quite well. So whilst creating that one, let's move on to the second image. And this one was, I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm intrigued to see if it will make any difference. Obviously, we want the Mona Lisa, but we want it to be, so I could try grinning as well. So that one top left-hand corner is more the kind of the smile that I'm after, but it's too far away. Some of these are quite freaky. I think the top right one is probably the best one for that. If I wasn't happy and I wanted it to give it another go, I can hit the reroll option, and then I'll show you what each of these will do then as well. So if we look at this one, I'm not sure what your thoughts are, but I think top left works really well. Looks like a wedding gown. She's got the bouquet in her hand, although it looks like her hand isn't attached to the bouquet. So that's really weird. So what we can do is actually look at variations of number one. So we get the same overarching image, but there'll be subtle tweaks to it. So hopefully that will give us an option that fixes the hand holding on to the bouquet. The other option is we look at bottom right one. The reason I'm not so keen on top right or bottom right is you can see that the lines on the track, so they're not running along the track, and we're going to get loads of inaccuracies and quirks like this with Midjourney. Bottom left doesn't work because there's a stray foot here. I could jump into Photoshop and fix it, but then the whole point of this is that we don't need to. And also that bouquet is looking a little bit hopeless. So by just tweaking that first one, hopefully we can fix that one issue. Otherwise we'll run a reroll on that as well. So if I look at these 4 images now, I'm looking for things like straight feet, making sure that the legs are going in the right way. So this one, it could just be me, but it looks like that leg's coming out on a 90-degree angle. And I don't think that works. Yeah, I think it's top left or bottom left. Close enough. I think we can go with top left. So we're going to upscale that one. Upscale, basically, you pick the image of the 4 that you think is most suitable, and then it changes it into a high-resolution graphic. Here we can check, make sure the number of fingers are the same, especially when Midjourney started out, it could never do hands properly. And so that's one of the challenges we have. But yeah, that one works. So if we copy that image and head over to Canva, we can now paste this graphic in. I'm going to snap it so it just fills that canvas size. The reason I do this is because 1, it just collects them all together once I've created the images in Midjourney, and 2, things like just pasting in the logo, it'll put it in the right place. What I could do is just enlarge it because it's a high enough resolution, and we're going to be using this for social media campaigns. We can just enlarge it a little bit, just so we got the foot so it doesn't overlap with the logo, because I want the logo in the same position on every image. My personal favorite, Harry Potter. Okay, we're now going to go and see if we can add in that second image. So we can have a look at the re-rolled images, or the variation, sorry, should I say, of the first one. And if we do a quick Google search for Mona Lisa, the painting. So we've got that, the famous half smile of the Mona Lisa. And then if we go back to our example, we can see that it is more of a grin. So I think version 2 is what I'm going to go with, and we're going to upscale that. So this is Midjourney. You will find it, if you use it regularly, infuriating at times. And probably the best thing to do is just to go away and come back to it with a fresh mindset. There are times where I've spent way too much time thinking about what I'm going to do to fix a prompt that's not working for me. But these two have actually fallen into place quite easily. There we go. So 2 of the easier picture puzzles, I think. Obviously, they're all easy if you've seen or know of the film. What I've tried to do with these is to create varying levels of difficulty. So this one's more cryptic. You've got male, Beetlejuice, a little bit more straightforward. One of my favorites, again, this one I used Midjourney to create the wormhole effect, or the black hole, and the stellar artois for Interstellar, Sleepless in Seattle. This one, again, as I said, we've used multiple layers. And so by bringing it into Canva, we harness and make the most out of the AI tool, but then we can add additional layers and tweak those. It doesn't have to be Canva. If you use Photoshop, Affinity, or any other image creation software that allows for multiple layers, which is what we want here, then this works great. If you want to find out more about Canva, we of course have our Canva Box of Tricks course available on our campus or on Udemy. Go ahead and check them out. Otherwise, hope you've enjoyed this. I'll catch you next time.